The Championship promotion race is insane, so let's talk about it. Hello guys and welcome back to yet another video. Today we are reacting to even more EFL Championship games playing out this weekend, and wow, look at that table next to me. We've got two big battles going on. We've got the race for the top two and the race for the playoffs. Before we get into this video, do be sure to share your thoughts if you were at one of the games over the weekend. Drop your thoughts down in the comments, let me know how you think this might play out. Be sure to drop a like, of course. Let's go for 1,000 likes on this one. If you like the EFL Championship, then like the video. Make sure to subscribe as well. We're closing in on 93,000, so every bit of support really does help us, so get involved and subscribe. And with all that said and done, like I say, let's talk about this Championship promotion race where we've got two big clumps we need to talk about, and that's why I've drawn a red cut-off line between the top four and the teams below them. Let's start with top of the table Leeds United then, who have been on an incredible winning run recently, which has culminated in them beating both Sunderland and Sheffield United, who are also chasing automatic promotion this season, with late goals in those games as well for Leeds. This time it was a draw. They drew this weekend with West Brom 1-1, and what I'm interested to know is the Leeds United fans' thoughts on this down in the comments, because will there be much made of this? Is there a cause for concern, or is this just a little bit of an outlier and it's not actually the end of the world? I guess, yeah, I don't blame people for saying it's 2 points dropped, because they did take the lead through Firpo, and Furlong obviously brings West Brom back into the game. And I did say, you know, coming into this weekend, with the standards that Leeds United have set, I don't expect them to drop any more points at home this season. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it could be Leeds fans that have got, you could say, PTSD from seasons gone by where they've sort of thrown it away, including last season. It was over Easter time where it went wrong, and it will be the people that are anti-Leeds that might try and drum this up to be, oh, here we go, it's all going wrong. I'm not seeing it that way. I think they've got through the difficult fixtures, and West Brom on paper is still a difficult game of sorts, so credit to West Brom. We'll come on to them in due course. But yeah, Sheffield United did win, Sunderland did win, we'll come on to them in a second. Leeds, the main thing is they didn't lose, and they've given themselves a cushion. They can't afford many of these results, but on this occasion, I don't think it's the end of the world. The games are running out, and like I say, Leeds United are still projecting 99.8 points, given their points per game through the entire season. Sheffield United then in second place. Have they taken a firm hold of second place with that win at QPR? It feels like it. What a win as well. I watched some of this game play out, and it did feel like QPR were putting Sheffield United under the cosh towards the end, and it's great character from Sheffield United, who we do know can be very good and tight at the back, and a good response really after losing the Leeds United game in the manner that they did with the late goals. It could have been easy to crumble against QPR, but Sheffield United held firm, and I think we're at this stage now where it doesn't even have to be pretty. Just get the 3 points, stick them on the board, and one of these top three might have a wobble. I think that's, you know, inevitable. The law of averages suggests one of them will. Will it be Burnley? Could it be Leeds? I don't know. If Sheffield United just, you know, stay on course, on their projection, 95.9 points. I don't think they need that necessarily, but it's a massive win, and the pressure's on Burnley, who have the game in hand and 5 points to make up. Like I say, I really do think it could come down to the Burnley-Sheffield United game, which is about 2 or 3 games from the end of the season. I think that's over Easter time, so massive game that one. Sheffield United are away for that game, and they did of course lose at home to Burnley earlier this season. They've just got to try and keep that buffer the same, or maybe extend it before that game rolls around. Burnley, we can't really touch on them. They haven't played this week. They do catch up in midweek, of course. They are away at Cardiff City. They did go out of the FA Cup this weekend. Osmajic, of course, scoring. Oh, goodness me, that was always going to be a hot topic, wasn't it? I think the Burnley players didn't shake his hand, and look, Burnley are out of the FA Cup. Burnley fans have been telling me quite a lot that Scott Parker has been rotating for the FA Cup, so yeah, all of the focus goes on to getting that top two now in the Championship. And we need to talk about Sunderland. Great win against Sheffield Wednesday on the Friday night. It was good to bounce back after back-to-back defeats. On Friday night, once this game had finished, I thought, great win. Mayenda gets 2 goals. I really like the diving header. The first one does touch his hand, let's be honest, but a win is a win for Sunderland. You know, they carry on moving up there. It's just the fact that Sheffield United have now won. It means that Sunderland are kind of back to square one. Sunderland are just going to have to keep winning if there's any chance of them making the top two. I'm starting to think that chance is slipping. It's not mathematically over. You can still see that Sunderland are projecting about 85.4 points. They could definitely still get to 90 if they really go for it. And 90 might do it. I do think 90 could do it this season. But yeah, they're just going to have to keep bashing out wins and wait for that slip from Sheffield United or Burnley. But they need them both to slip up a couple of times. So share your thoughts on that top four. Right now, Leeds United are still my team to go up and win the league. Sheffield United look like the favourites for second, but Burnley are still sort of hanging around, and that great defensive record is not to be overlooked. Sunderland still involved, I would say, but I just worry that they're kind of clinging on to hope, but it gives them something to play for, doesn't it? Otherwise, what else is there to play for, I guess? I think they've kind of already wrapped up their playoff place. Speaking of the playoffs, let's look at the playoff picture, and what's that coming over the hill? It's Coventry City, up in 5th place now. Honestly, I am loving it. Frank Lampard, once again, deserves a lot of credit. 8 wins in 9. It's the first time Coventry City have done that since the 60s. Or the 50s, it might be earlier than that. It's an incredible record, and it's about, can we keep it going now? I have felt a real confidence about Coventry City over the last few weeks, the way we're playing, but the way we're grinding results out as well. It was a good win against Oxford. It wasn't pretty, and it was a bit of a car crash of a second half, but I don't care. We won. I just want to get 3 points on the board. Performances do matter, of course, and I think the performance on the whole was pretty good, but defensively, I would like to see it a bit tighter than that. And there is some difficult games coming, especially towards the end of March. What the interesting thing here with Coventry is, a lot of us are getting excited because we've made it into the playoffs, but the season we did make the playoffs, we did it just in the nick of time, and it was kind of too late for us to fall back out again. Have we peaked too early? I'm not saying we have, that's just a question, because if Coventry now lose a couple games out of nowhere, which I don't see happening just yet, but it could happen, then Coventry could certainly, drop back out of the top 6 again. We want to really firm up that top 6 place. A couple of games before the international break do look winnable on paper. I want to see us get to 60 points before the international break. So that's 7 points from the next 3. That's the confidence I've got with this team right now. Honestly, we've got the best players coming back as well from injury. I love it. Let's see where this gets to. Then you've got West Brom, who were in 6th. And West Brom, of course, what a good draw at Leeds. We just spoke about it. Leeds United have been on such a good run. I didn't really give West Brom a chance, and I do like West Brom. I like Mowbray as well, but I thought they might be too open. But no, credit to them. They've only conceded 1 at Leeds, which is quite a good accomplishment this season, let's be honest. And they've managed to hang on to that playoff place for now. It's very fine margins, though, and it could come down to goal difference at the end of the season. But look at those projections there. West Bromwich Albion projecting 68.3 based on the points per game through the season. The reason I keep flashing this up is it's not changing much, and I've said it for a few weeks now. I think 70 points is very likely going to get you into the playoffs. That's why I'm doing this. You've got to look at a target here. 70 points, I think you'd be desperately unlucky to miss out on the playoffs. Can West Brom do it? They could do. It still feels like they're a little bit hard to trust on the road, but that draw at Leeds will give them confidence. I know they've still got Burnley and Norwich away to come in March. Next up, Blackburn in 7th place. I mean, they're out of the playoffs now, but there's very little to separate the teams here. As I say, it comes down to goal difference, of which Blackburn's isn't as good as West Brom's. I think you've got to try and take the positives against Norwich. On paper, it was winnable because Norwich are not great away, but given that, they had a red card in the last couple of minutes and then concede, to rescue a draw could be crucial, especially in a head-to-head game. So for Blackburn, I'm still struggling to make any sense out of them. I know they've brought in Ismail now, they've brought in the new manager, but I'm not sure. It's too early to judge the new manager just yet. 11 cup finals though, that's what you've got to say. And now look at Middlesbrough, back in the playoff race. 2 games ago, people were starting to think, oh, they might be out of this. No way. This is very open, and it's the fact that other than Coventry, no one's being really good. I think there's good teams in here, but no one's being very consistent. And back-to-back wins, and Middlesbrough are right back in it. I didn't fancy them against Stoke, so that was a good win. I did fancy them against Derby. I said they'd win 1-0, and they did. So Borough fans, what are we saying? Is this just a little step forwards before things go backwards again, or do you think this is really where Borough could push on and actually get in there? Because I've got to be honest, I was a little bit worried a couple of weeks ago, but a good win against Derby, 1-0, and they're right back in there. Wins are what matter right now. Bristol City don't play until Tuesday, so we can't say too much about them. Their game is against Millwall though, which will be interesting because Millwall is still kind of in the playoff race, I guess. Watford 0-0 against Stoke City. Not a great result, but still in the mix. 3 points off. I can't grumble at Watford. The expectations at the start of the season were not great, should we say? So still sticking around. I do feel like draws are going to go down in value the later we get into the season. It depends. It depends what other teams do. It kind of feels like we're at that stage now where you're at the game, but you are kind of thinking what's going on in the other games, because look how many teams are involved in this playoff race. But 0-0 against Stoke, I don't think the Watford fans will be thrilled with it. But share your thoughts. Is it an okay point? Norwich up next. Obviously, they were involved in that 1-1 draw against Blackburn, and oh man, geez, that's a massive 2 points dropped. The red card and then the late Norwich goal. You've got to see it out, and we have seen this before with Norwich. Conceded late on against Derby. I think that could be what kills them. I still think Norwich are involved, by the way, with Josh Sargent and Signs. Like I say, they've just got those star players that can win a game, but just a little bit concerned about not grinding out the wins where they should. They've only won one in about 4 or 5 games, so Norwich fans, do share your thoughts. Still 4 points off. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, definitely 2 points dropped. Millwall, as I say, they play in midweek against Bristol City, and then finally you've got Sheffield Wednesday, who are 7 points off. Yeah, not great. 3 defeats in a row, of course. Late on against Coventry, smashed by Burnley, and then losing to Sunderland. It's the home form that makes me worry. I think on the road I trust them, but are they consistent enough? I don't think so, but it could just change. Football is a funny game, isn't it? It could just be that Sheffield Wednesday, after losing 3 games in a row, can win 3 games in a row. Right now, some Sheffield Wednesday fans might not be able to see it that way, but if you win your next 2, you're right back in there. You're right back in there, especially in the head-to-head games. And there's some big games coming for Sheffield Wednesday, and they do have a big game against Sheffield United coming up just before the international break, which Sheffield Wednesday really want to do some damage to the blades and their automatic hopes. I'm looking forward to that game. And that kind of wraps it up. I won't go any lower than Sheffield Wednesday. QPR obviously just below them. They lost to Sheffield United. Are we starting to get a better reading on this, is the question. The takeaway for me is not the best weekend for Leeds, but I'm not too concerned myself personally. But if you're a Leeds fan and you want to share an opposing view, let me know yours. Sheffield United, a good weekend. They put the pressure on Burnley. That's all they could do. And, if you're a Sheffield United fan, you still think you could catch Leeds, you'll be delighted that Leeds didn't win. Burnley, yeah, not great. They've got to do some catching up now. And obviously they went out of the FA Cup as well. And Sunderland, are they involved? They've just about kept that fire burning. Coventry look pretty good, but I don't want to get carried away and say we've done it. But we're there now, aren't we? And we've got some favourable fixtures and some good players returning. So I am getting excited. And then, honestly, the playoff places are just up for grabs. Anyone can make it. Get to 70 points, and I think you do it. That's my takeaway. 70 points for the playoffs. And for the autos, I'm still trying to work this out. So Burnley have 12 games. It's going to be somewhere in the 90s, isn't it? It usually is. I think maybe 92 points is probably going to be enough. I think one of that top 3 might just slip up a little bit somewhere and just fall short of 92. So I think right now Leeds and Blades are looking your best bet, but football is a funny game, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts. That's my takeaway from today. It's still wide open, but I'm loving it. It's the Championship. It's crazy. If you've enjoyed, drop a like. Make sure to subscribe as well. Your support is massively appreciated, so please do keep it coming. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.